So a couple of new things with this transmission this year. No more stock case. I got the reed case on it now. We are bulletproof. I ain't gotta worry about losing any feet, hopefully. Then I ended up switching torque converters. So this year we got the Circle D bolt together 252 millimeter. A dump valve this year. That's gonna be the new toy to play with. And then I got the Motion Raceworks Rife pressure sensor for the transmission this year. That way I can monitor line pressure and converter pressure.
Yeah, so far. I told you, they're so far above my intelligence, it doesn't matter.
Starting to look like a race car. This is what started all the work with this roll cage.
Yeah, you guys
got a lot of stuff out, right? Put this in?
Yeah, the whole floor. From the firewall back can be cut out.
So, this is all new. Are you heavier or lighter with the new?
I scaled it last night. I think it's gonna be lighter.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that all tubing that cut out of there?
Yeah, that was the old cage that we had to cut out. Which I think that hurt Connor's feeling because he had a lot of money in that cage too.
Oh, I bet.
So I recently painted the cage, and now I'm making these two protectors. They're made out of carbon fiber. Just around the edges, making them look nice, and then going to install them in areas on the cage where it sees a lot of activity just to prevent scratching the paint. So here's one I just finished up. Then I'm dabbling a couple drops of sealant. And then this one will get installed. Actually, it goes this way. Installed like that. So onto the interior of the car. I ended up getting the carpet in. Got the carbon fiber in the rear. That all turned out super nice. Onto the back of the car. Just got some wet paint back here. Sprayed these bars again because I scratched them all up the other day. This stuff right here is what I've been using, the VHT roll bar and chassis. It's just the satin black. And then that's what I use to paint the whole cage. And I think it turned out pretty darn good. So I got the headers on, got the crossover on. That's all mounted down and secured. Radiator's in. Electric fans are in. This is actually a new electric fan since I melted through the old one. This is actually a little bit shorter, gives some more clearance here. So next I gotta figure out a couple wires here before I put the intake on, since it's just a little bit easier to access that. Then the intake can go on. I need a new gasket for the turbo. And then turbo can go on. And then yeah, I can put the charge pipe on, route that around. And then I'm gonna have a new intercooler, so I'm gonna need some new piping done to the intercooler on both sides here. Alrighty guys, so we just arrived here at US 12 Speed and Custom. They've been working on the notch the last couple weeks. So they've been working on some fitting of the hood and new bumper.
I've got a small list of stuff I'm just going to go over with real quick, just so you know. We went over the antenna hole deal, that's all patched shut, body worked in. We did switch this style of mount down here, so if you remember in the beginning we were talking about doing a bar with some bolts and a plate behind to put it together. It's now just going to be a flat plate on the bottom, which has Zeus fasteners on the inside this way. You got 3 bolts on the inside this way, so it's just 3 and 3. Everything will pop right off.
I like that.
What we did is panel bonded locator washers on the inside of your fender. So when you put the bolts back in, it's not going to move. It's going to be in the same spot every time you put it on.
So yeah, that's super nice.
This is that lid. I'm just telling you out.
Okay.
So the hood will.
So it's actually gonna go in.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and then it'll just allow the air not to catch it.
I like that.
So, and then we'll put some pink protective film on the front.
Just to prevent.
And You'll probably paint this red too.
Yes. Not off just for mock-up purposes, but it will be when we're done.
How's the hood feel locked down? Does it feel secure?
I haven't had it all pushed locked yet, but it will go in. All the pins are loose right now.
Was this like carbon wood or was this like?
Yeah, once we get all the pins, a couple of them, yeah,
Something, yeah, but
this surface is just.
Yeah, that looks awesome.
Yeah, no, that'd be a total different look. That's for sure.
And that's nice too, because then you don't see none of that up here.
yeah.
A lot of guys do it right through here, you know, and so that'll be so much nicer.
And I don't think you're gonna have any issues with loading the car. It's still gonna have plenty of ground clearance.
I was curious
assume
about
that
that.
you're gonna lower the front end down a little bit.
Yeah, I want to lower the whole car more. Plus, that was the big thing. Now that we have the exhaust coming out the hood here, rather than going over, because I was hitting on that tire like really bad, so I couldn't go any lower. I couldn't even turn the wheel, you know. So now that that's out of the way, I can lower the car, and then you're thinking about coming up right about here. Then still. These are push button release. Alrighty guys, we just arrived at US 12 Speed and Custom. We're gonna pick up the notch. It's all freshly painted. Let's check it out. Alright, so a couple things we had changed. Before, the radiator cap was over here, we had it moved over. Switched over to AN fittings to get rid of the rubber hose. The turbo was before more over here. Now it's on that side of the frame rail, tucked up front, exhaust going out the hood. We went to a 5-inch exhaust rather than the 4-inch. Then they also redid all the plumbing. Went to bigger diameter. Before it was around 2 1/4. Now it's all 3-inch. Had them add a couple bars to the seat brace here. Before it was just the 1 bar. I'm talking to Race Tech, they wanted at least 2 bars just in case I was in a rear impact. So now we're getting 3 bars to be a little bit safer. Day 1 in the books, we went a 1.213 60 foot, a 5.15 to the 8th, and then 8.59 letting out a half track.
test zone just put on there once, get a little heat in the trans fluid.
CO2's on? Wouldn't every track got that area to do that? Helps if I grab my tech card.
That's a new personal best everywhere.